My name is Alexandria Benson, third grade teacher at North Lafayette Elementary School, and I have had the opportunity to coach fourth grade math teacher Michelle Green. This is Michelle's second year in public education after 18 years of teaching experience in private school. In my previous sessions with Michelle, we partnered together to observe the current reality of her classroom and create a goal off of the observations. Michelle's goal was that 80% of her students would be engaged and utilize technology to enhance the learning process by the end of November. During this session, we discussed the implementation of Nearpod within her classroom and the next steps we are going to take in order for Michelle to reach her goal. Hi Michelle, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Okay, so given the time we have today, what is the most important thing for us to talk about?
The Nearpod lesson. I'm still figuring out how to use Nearpod and how it can be utilized within my math classroom. The kids seem to be really enjoying it. I do look forward to talking about a little bit about Nearpod's implementation today. I would also like some additional guidance and next steps on how to achieve and work on my goal.
Right, yeah. Let's go ahead and start talking about the implementation of Nearpod. And just to review like our previous two sessions, your goal is that 80% of your students will be engaged and will utilize technology to enhance the learning process by the end of November, beginning of December. How do you feel you did teaching the lesson where you implemented the strategies we discussed to meet your goal?
I felt pretty good about the lesson and the uses of the technology in the classroom. I definitely have a lot to learn and room for growth using it, but I believe my confidence will continue to grow the more I use.
I definitely agree.
Nearpod.
Because sometimes it is tricky when it comes to like figuring out which of the tools within Nearpod to use. So once you become more comfortable with those, it'll be easier. But the more that you have like exposure to that, what has gone well in your implementation of Nearpod?
More student collaboration, higher student engagement within the math lessons. Maybe active learning is constantly taking place when using Nearpod, and I believe each of these factors shows the growing of using this tool with and successfully using it in the classroom.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I have noticed that, your students are, becoming more comfortable and confident when answering the questions. When I first watched the observation before, like implementing Nearpod or any of the technologies, you'd call students up to the board or have them put their individual boards up to show, their math problems. And I could tell that some were, a bit hesitant, but, I feel like, just having the opportunity to utilize the different features of Nearpod has allowed some of yours to kind of come out of their shells and, want to share and participate. They're active participants, and that's really encouraging. So have there been any roadblocks or things which, have kind of stumped you, things that you might not really understand?
Not really. I'm just still working to better understand Nearpod and how to use it. I need to probably just continue practicing on that. My only confusion comes from still not being able to be super familiar with the technology resources. And however, the more I practice using it, though, the better I think that will be it.
Yeah, I agree with that, too. So as I watched your lesson, I noticed that your students were very engaged. And when we do our mini lessons, normally they tend to be a bit more teacher-led. It's a lot of the students kind of just sitting and hearing us teach. However, during this lesson, I observed more student-led activity within the mini lesson, and as students, they had active roles, they were able to participate. I just thought that was really great. When the kids were working more alongside you using the Nearpod, I noticed they were more engaged and they were more willing to ask and answer questions. And I noticed they really liked the collaborative board and enjoyed commenting on the questions which were asked. And that's really a neat feature for this age group in particular. A lot of them are very tech savvy, and whether we like it or not, a lot of them are going to be on those social media platforms.
Right.
And so I just feel like this is, a healthy way for them to post and express themselves
Right.
and answer questions and allow their peers to like view their responses. So
Yes, I definitely noticed my students were more excited and engaged,
yeah,
and they were more willing to participate using the Nearpod.
right.
So they gave them, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, it just gave them opportunities to communicate and
Yeah.
converse with one another.
And they like to do
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Right. So have you given your students the attitude survey?
I'm waiting to do that more towards the end of November,
Okay.
first part of December.
Right. Awesome. So you'll probably have the opportunity to implement a couple more Nearpods by then, because that will be around the time where we would like the end of our goal.
Right.
The time to achieve the goal. So during our last session, we had agreed upon a checklist for you as you work to reach your goals. And I'm just going to review your checklist, and we're going to talk about your progress for each of the points on the checklist, okay? So first, the teacher makes a connection to background knowledge of the content. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. The teacher confidently designs a Nearpod lesson based on the related content.
I'm still working on doing so confidently.
Yeah.
I need a bit more time to create Nearpods and
More
before I say
exposure
that I'm
and practice. Okay.
definitely confident with it.
Right. The teacher models for students how to use Nearpod, specifically how to respond during discussions and utilize the Draw It feature. Okay.
Yes.
The teacher asks open-ended questions using strategies students have learned in the class.
Yes.
Yes, okay. The teacher prompts students on when to participate in live discussions through the Collaborate board and when to utilize other Nearpod features including Draw It, Quiz, and Time to Climb. Okay. The teacher discusses responses from student collaboration on formative assessments.
Yes.
The teacher formatively assesses student understanding using any of the Nearpod features.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's talk about the direction that we go from here. We're going to continue to monitor your progress for the second point that was on the checklist. And again, that was the teacher confidently designs a Nearpod lesson based on the related content. And you're saying that you're not yet completely confident in creating Nearpods. That's correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I believe that we were still on track with the timing of our goal, like around the beginning of December. However, when we return from Thanksgiving break, would you like to revisit Nearpod almost as like a refresher?
Yes, that would
Okay.
be great.
That's what I thought.
Especially after having a week off.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so perfect. Also, I wanted to ask, based on what you've seen so far, do you believe that the implementation of Nearpod has been successful? Like, is there anything that you would like to do differently?
No, I think it's been very successful. The students are participating and doing great with it.
Right, okay, great. Okay, so we will meet again after Thanksgiving break to discuss creating Nearpod. Are you still committed to your goal?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we can do that. So, great. Let me type that down. Okay.
Okay. Might need to push the time frame back just a few days.
Okay, we can do that. So how does December 7th sound? That's
Yeah,
a
that sounds
Wednesday?
good. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, let me go ahead and make note of that. Okay. So do you have any questions or concerns before we end?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, perfect. Well, you're doing a fabulous job, and I really look forward to watching you reach that goal. And I think it's just great what your kids are doing in here. So
Great.
that's
Can't
it.
wait to see what happens.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.